these minds of the future wanting to build and design right there in Palm Bay. And so, I really felt strongly that we need to support them. We need to have this, because if we're going to bring in the brain trusts from other countries, even other states are wanting to come, they're getting a lot of response from this. So I'm very excited about that. I really am.
So what I'm hearing, and I'm assuming that the majority of those individuals there are a lot of our millennials.
Right. Yes, they are. Actually, yes, they are.
So you are with the understanding we have to adapt and embrace them and bring them aboard we can't expect them to kind of go along with our way we do things. We have to learn how to do things their way. And that would be a phenomenal group to get involved in chambers. Definitely.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the entrepreneurial breakfasts coming up, and I think it might be November. I have this guy, Chris Thomas, who is, he calls himself a serial entrepreneur. He's maybe 25. I'm not sure. He's a youngster. And he is into drones, and he brought over the first, I think it might even be North American drone, and they're called actually something else now, unaided, I don't know, something flying machines. I don't know, but there's another name, but we know drones. And so, he brought it to Kissimmee because he said there wasn't a facility, because he really did want to bring it to Palm Bay, and they raced through the obstacle course, and he was showing me on the computer with his 3D goggle things, and I'm watching this race. I thought, this is amazing. I mean, technology is so cool. So he's going to speak at that breakfast about drones and about this whole new world. And I just went to Women in Defense, and they were talking about the FAA and the regulations, because it's gone from a few people into these little planes and stuff to millions of drones, and how do you regulate that? So it's interesting.
The FAA, I'm a pilot, so I kind of stay up on that side. The FAA is now mandating drones of a certain size or certain power have to get what is known as an N number. If you've ever seen an airliner, you always see an N number. N stands for the United States, and then numbers after that, and that's your registration number with the FAA. And drones now come under that.
Yeah, well, and he was talking about them being as big as a 747 jet to like the size of a bee. So. It's kind of like all those sci-fi movies coming to life now, and I'm kind of like, wow.
That's going to be a very well-attended breakfast, I'm sure.
It should be.
It's a very interesting topic, and we hear so much about it.
Yeah, I know military is doing some stuff using the larger drones for medevacing troops out of hazardous areas.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, and the fact that they're able to transport things, I mean, Amazon is talking about that too, but the fact for the military, they're able to drop supplies, and, so you're not sending out these billion-dollar planes, you've got the little drones, and they were talking about swarm drones and how they, they're all independent. And so if one gets hurt or shot down or runs into something, the rest of them still complete the mission. So it's really interesting. All this stuff.
I know. It's like a hive of drones. Hive of bees.
If Amazon can ever get their thing together, and Amazon has a lot of technical difficulties like this, dropping packages off at your front door, your back door type of a thing.
Yeah.
But, people have trees and shrubs and all these things they've got to fly over, under, around, and through.
Yeah.
But, someday they'll get it done.
You can see it as a reality.
Yeah.
Before it was sci-fi, now it's a reality, probably sooner than we think. So
this is good stuff, knowing that you're bringing these type of topics to the community there in Palm Bay and to the membership. And I know you mentioned Linda Weatherman, and you have a luncheon always the first Wednesday of the month. So I understand she's the guest.
She is our guest speaker. She's giving an update of Brevard County and what's how many new businesses have come in and jobs, and I'm hoping she's going to talk about the CPT program. Because manufacturers are finding that there's not the pool of labor that they need. They're trying to bring manufacturing back to the United States, and yet we have this generation that we all push to college or university, not into the trades. And, the numbers show in the trades, they tend to be longer term jobs. You know, they tend to have pensions with them. They tend to have health care. They tend to pay better. And so we need to get this next generation to see that as an option, and not necessarily college with you leave and you have 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 in debt. You can start and immediately you're into a trade. And so she's really promoting that, and I'm really on board with that. I always remember when I was a kid, we had shop, and we had the guy, you know, not just guys, but women that wanted to get into that. It needs to be a viable option and shown for kids that you'll do very well in the manufacturing. And, you know, it's not the way it was. You kind of have, you know, the movies and they come out and they're grungy, like the coal mines and all this kind of stuff. If you've gone into Embraer, the floors are white, the walls are white, and they're building planes.
Yes.
I mean, it's immaculate in there. So, yeah, it's changed.
And that's because that's the clientele. They want to come in and say, oh, this is amazing.
Right.
On putting that together. You know, you go back to drones. You know, it's not the big corporations for the most part that are building these drones.
Right.
You know,
right.
It's new or relatively new upstarts or businesses that were able to make a shift. So all of that, going back to the millennials, that's the driving force.
Right. Well, and what's another project that we've started, and that is Shannon Gronage is another strategic partner. You know her well with her Business Acceleration Summit. She's phenomenal. And she said, why don't we do a webinar? And I went, oh, okay. And you know me, I mean, you guys do know me in technology. So I went, okay. So I often say yes before I think everything through. But you know what? Sometimes you just have to do that. And she had all the technology, and we do a 1-hour webinar so people don't have to leave their offices. It's funny because I've had even executives say to me, you know, I listened to that, or because we live stream on Facebook as well. They said, you know, I'm in my office, I'm doing other things, I'm checking emails and that, but I'm listening. And so sometimes, you know, when something really tweaks my interest, I'll stop and really focus. And we're surprised at how many people say they've listened to our webinar, and or they see us on the Facebook live stream. Technology is phenomenal. So we're trying to use it where we can.
It has a greater reach.
Yes.
And as you said, what you're focusing on is not everyone can get out of their office to attend a breakfast or a lunch or an after hours. Maybe they want to go home after a long day of work. So having that opportunity to get on at the desk, you know, maybe during lunch hour. I think she does it during lunch hour.
We do it from 2 to 3, actually. Okay. And we kind of have changed the day sometimes, sometimes with our schedule. But if they register on the website, and it's not a regular chamber website, unfortunately, we to get our YouTube channel. I didn't know about this, but they did all this for us. So to get our YouTube channel and that, so it's Greater Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce. And if they register, then when they log on, we see them and we can click the screen to them. So they become part of our webinar. And so it helps their business because then they can attach that to their website, and and you know, well, you guys know, Facebook and YouTube and that, they translate the verbiage, you know, and so it gives you content and it helps with search engines. So it's great.
It certainly does. So now your audio, when you're speaking, has to be SEO'd before you actually open your mouth.
I know, right?
so it can be so overwhelming, but you have so many people that have stepped up to assist you in bringing this information and these different ideas to the members. And your game, I love it. Let's do it.
I think that's one of my things. I'm like, woohoo, it better be fun. You know, let's try it. So, when we did True Colors, that was one of our entrepreneurial breakfasts, and Debbie Good did a training.
That was a good one.
Wasn't that a great one? Yeah. And it was about your personality. And so, I mean, there's Myers-Briggs, there's DISC, but this was on colors. So I actually said, I've changed. And how do I do a total 180? I mean, this is weird. And she said, you may have done it before where you answered how you thought you should be in your position. And so with this one, it came up that I was an orange, which orange, I thought, okay, those are the ones I need to be the life of the party, attention and that. But it was more, I want things to be fun. And so, and I said, yeah, that is true. Whenever I thought, I'm working on a special event, if you're going to work on it for 6 months, you better have a good time at it. So I'm thinking the same thing. If we're having all these events, I don't want people to come and say, oh, that was a snooze fest, or, you know, I could have done, I wish I hadn't come. We want things to be fun when they come, but business oriented. You don't have to, everything doesn't have to be this prim and proper, this is a chamber function. It's like, yeah, and you're going to have a good time at it, and you're going to learn something, and you're going to be able to network and make great connections. So
it's all about.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's been good.
Well, you have a big signature event coming up, and I know. Were you on board with the chamber when they did it last year, or?
I was. Unfortunately, They were going to do it the week after I started, so we postponed it into November. But it was still new for me at that time.
It's been going on for a number of years.
It has, because I used to attend it before. Because this is the event where you get media for pennies on the dollar. It really is. It's our signature media auction, and so it's September 21st at the Holiday Inn Express on Malabar Road. Paneet Kapoor is our the Holiday Inn is our sponsor of it, and are very gracious to hold it there. So we have things like Spotlight Magazine. There's advertising in there. There's Senior Life. We have Aldea Today, Saving Safari, Vieira Voice. We also have radio. So we have WMEL. We have 98.5 The Beach. We have
I told Pat we're going to offer some advertising for our social
radio.
Thank you.
Social radio, yes. Of course. Yes, with Richard and Cheri. So thank you. We have some unique ones. We have Travis is going to build a website for somebody.
Nice.
So that's really nice. And then we have things like business cards, or if you want posters and postcards. When we think of our marketing plan, all of these are important. It's not just one avenue. You can't just think you put one ad in the Florida Today and everybody's coming. We all know it requires a whole lot of work in other areas.
It does.
So Digital Inc., they're doing some graphics. We do have Florida Today and Senior Scene. We've got Cumulus. Brand U TV. All unique partners that are offering, like I said, advertising, and we just know you're going to get them at pennies on the dollar. So yes,
I met someone yesterday at the breakfast that had mentioned, that I bought advertising there. I bid on it and I won it, and she goes, best deal I ever did, because she says I could not afford the advertising that I needed. I think she owned a restaurant, and she says for a restaurant, and she said, being able to come in and auction and bid on this and get it at, you say pennies, pennies,
absolutely, yeah.
And then it really helped her to get that greater reach that she needed. And I know we've donated when we had our web design company, we donated website design. One time we've been years ago, we used to attend a lot of the Palm Bay Chamber. Now we're happy that we're back.
I am happy too.
But so yeah, we've utilized it as offering, and also had bid on some things as well. So yeah, definitely a great. Definitely event here in Brevard County. Everyone needs to attend it. So
right, and it's great if you're a nonprofit. If actually the ones that are running for office, this is where if they're thinking, okay, I need to get some postcards out.
Yes.
I need to put some posters up. Get into different magazines than they probably thought of. They do have some budgets, and it does really help them. Brevard Business News. You're reaching a different audience, and so I am. This is for everybody. It really is. It's out for the public. So September 21st, 6 to 8:30 at the Holiday Inn Express. And they can just go on our chamber website. It's greaterpalmbaychamber.com and register for it. And actually media, if there's any out there that want to donate more the merrier. We're going to start posting on our Facebook page the different certificates we have.
Oh, awesome.
So people can kind of see. It'll be like the 12 days of media. So they'll see the different ones we have ahead of time.
I must email Pat. And that's
thank you.
For those individuals that want to offer media packages for bid.
Yes.
Who do they contact at the chamber?
They can do me actually, because it's the one I'm remembering. Everybody else I have in my system, and I just click it. So I'm really bad at this. I apologize. Okay. They can do president at greaterpalmbaychamber.com. Okay. That's the easiest one. Because Pat, I can't remember if it's pat.lucky. So I don't want to give them wrong information.
I think it is, but I know what you mean. Yeah. Hers is different than everybody else's.
I know. Yeah, it is.
We want to keep our audience happy.
And for those individuals that want to attend, is there a cost to attend?
There is, because we'll have food and appetizers for them. So I think it's like $10. It's very minuscule.
A networking mingle as well.
Networking mingle.
Getting a good deal on your media to help grow your business. That's fantastic.
We do everything very inexpensively, because my mission is like I said, we're trying to really help our members. And so a lot of them say, we can't afford the, $75 events or, and I said, I understand. And so let's try and make this, we're just trying to cover the costs for food and that kind of thing. But it really is for $10. It's great networking, and you have this opportunity to bid on these fabulous marketing opportunities. So yeah, it's great.
Awesome.
Yeah, we were how long ago was it? It's been a while ago that we went to them, but we offered some stuff, as Cheri said, but we also purchased